Hello everyone, this is Rebecca Jane from yogawithrebeccajane.com. Oh, another class on weight loss and combining it with some yoga stretches. How do you lose weight with yoga? Usually you always think of, doing some type of heavy duty type of cardio exercise. How we do it is by thinking in terms of the long term. When we're when you're doing short bursts of exercise for short periods of time, yes, you would lose weight, much easier. But if you think of the long term, over years, months, years, in order for us to sustain a loss, to lose weight on a slowly and then keep it off, yoga is very, very helpful with that, in combination with other forms of exercise. And the reason is because in yoga, it's gentle. It can be pretty, fast. There's different types of yoga practices that are, power yoga, which is a lot faster. But the type of yoga I teach is getting you to relax your nervous system through the breath, through the movement, and also we're holding poses for longer periods of time, which actually target areas that kind of get stuck and flabby, and we gain extra weight around our stomachs. Maybe we have those, I hate the term muffin top, but that's often where our arms become weak and they lose their tone. You're going to tone your body through yoga, so you'll take your body and lengthen it and tone it, but it also turns off the stress response, which is a huge culprit for weight gain. So this practice today, we're going to go right onto our backs and let's lay down, and we'll start with the breath, getting yourself into a relaxed state, and we will be doing an abdominal exercise as well. So let's come onto the backs, and when you're on your back, let's stretch through the arms, stretch through the legs. Whew. Relax your nervous system simply by saying, as you inhale, let, and exhale, go. That's the mantra for this practice. So every time you inhale, let, and every time you exhale, go. Let the stress go, let the heaviness in your body go. And let's hug the knees into the chest. Now this posture, it's a tummy toner, and it also alleviates tummy bloating. So it's good. It's a great simple stretch. And let's bring our forehead to our knees. See if you can hug the knees a little bit deeper into your chest. And some of us might be flexible enough you can actually grab hold of the feet, but otherwise just wrap the hands around the shins. Take a breath in, forehead to knees, and as you exhale, just soften a little bit, and then inhale, lift up. And as you exhale, draw the tummy muscles in, and then inhale again, soften the tummy, and then exhale, pull the tummy muscles in, and then lower the feet to the ground. Ooh. Just a very gentle stretch and toner, nothing too intense, but just enough. We don't need to go do lots of stomach exercises. Let's take the hands for a moment and place it on our rib cage. We're going to begin our yogic breathing, our Ujjayi breath, breathing into the rib cage. So drape your hands around the rib cage. As you inhale, see if you can feel the rib cage expand into your hands, and as you exhale, let the rib cage contract. So we're inflating our rib cage like as if it's a balloon. Well, your lungs are balloons, right? And then as you exhale, you feel the rib cage close in on itself. A little bit like imagine a corset, tying up the corset.
strings, that's the exhalation, and releasing the corset strings, that's the inhalation. So let's take another 3 breaths here. Closing your eyes, inhaling through the nose. Let and exhale go. Let it all go. Worries, concerns, or you don't have to ignore them, but compulsive worries and concerns become heavy and they weigh you down. Let's lighten the load by leaving those things, letting them, place them off the mat. And then let's gently open our eyes. And if you happen to have a block handy or a rolled up towel or blanket, you could place it between the legs. If you don't, it's not necessary at all for these abdominals. It's just an added, abdominal strengthener, because you'll be squeezing the inner thighs and squeezing those lower abdominal muscles. Otherwise, not a big deal. Keep your feet on the ground, hands behind the head, elbows angle in towards each other. And press into the ground with the feet. Those are going to be we're going to use the word heavy. I want your feet to get really heavy. And then inhaling, the head and shoulders up. And those head and shoulders stay up the whole time. Hold the breath, lift your tailbone up off the ground, press into the feet. Get heavy in the feet, but the rest of your body is light. Squeeze the block or the legs together, then inhale, elbows lift towards the ceiling, draw the tummy muscles in. And then inhale, lower the tailbone down, and just come to the upper part of your shoulders. Holding the breath, lift the tailbone up. Exhaling, elbows reach up a little bit higher. They don't go very far. Tummy muscles pull in, and then inhale, release the tailbone and come to the upper part of the shoulders. You can stay here, especially if you're new to this. I would keep the feet down. Otherwise, come into a 90-degree angle, a little bit more intense. Push through the ball mounds of that right foot or flex the feet, either one. And take a breath in. If your head is down, inhale, lift your head and shoulders up. Hold the breath, tailbone lifts, and then exhale, either keep your legs as they are or straighten the legs, come to about a 45-degree angle, elbows lift, 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 lift. And then inhaling, bring your knees back in, lower your tailbone down, and keep your head up. Holding the breath, lift your tailbone, exhaling, elbows reach up, and then add, this is an option, add the legs, straighten the legs. Inhaling, bending the knees. We're going to do this one more time. Lower the tailbone down. One more time. Lift the tailbone. These are called Forrest abs. They're intense. They're great. Straighten the legs. Inhale, exhale. The elbows lift up. Lift, 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 lift. The lower the legs, the harder, the harder. So if you feel like, oh, I'm having it easy, lower the legs. And then inhaling, re-hugging your knees into your chest. Blocks you could place to the side for our standing sequence that we'll be coming to in a moment. So little rocks and rolls. So the whole idea in this practice is the idea about letting go, but we need to first stabilize ourselves. So I'm going to use the word heavy. So you're going to come heavy into your hands. Let's roll all the way up into our seat. Let's cross your ankles and let's fold forward just for a moment to counter what we just did. Let's return to the breath. Let's take an inhale. And relax your nervous system so your nervous system isn't always on alert. When it's on alert, it starts to, part of the survival, it holds on to the fat in your body just because it thinks, oh my God, what's happening here? Are you stressed? Don't you have enough food? Slide your hands to your knees. It's trying to interpret the stress. It doesn't know that it's because you're worried about getting something done. Come onto your hands and knees. You're worried about your kids, whatever it might be. It has no clue other than you're stressed. Let's come onto the hands and knees. Get heavy on the hands. Heavy meaning put your weight onto those hands without hurting the wrists. You're just going to root down, and then curl the toes under, sit back into your child's pose. Slide your hands a little further forward, press. Uncurl the toes and then place your forehead on the ground. So a little bit of a stretch of the feet. Pressing, so the whole idea that we're concentrating on in this class, our focus is bring your awareness to the idea of rooting down, and that means getting really heavy on the parts of your body that are touching the ground, that are supporting you, and then by doing so, you can lift up and feel lighter as you lift. Inhaling into your tabletop. Let's do a few little cats and cows. Let's kind of get this idea in our heads what this feels like. So we're creating lightness in the body. Press down with the hands, become heavy in the hands, then take an inhale. By becoming heavy, you can now exhale into your cat stretch. Create a light feeling as you lift up through the middle back. Drop your head, draw the tummy muscles in. Then inhaling into your cow stretch, softening the tummy, lifting your tailbone, arching your lower back. Exhaling, rounding. Inhaling, lifting through the heart. So yoga is about foundation, creating that foundation, which will be whatever is touching the ground, that base, and then lifting from that base. But you can't have a base that isn't solid to lift up from. And then inhale back into your tabletop, neutral spine, curl the toes under, sit back into a extended child's or press into the ground. Use that heavy feeling. You're gonna get really heavy in the hands. Take an inhale, then exhale. Lift up to the rest of the body. Press back. So heaviness don't go to the point where you're actually putting all your weight on your wrist. It's just that this foundation that you're starting with, a foundation. Lift your tailbone up to the sky, press your big toes into the ground, and hold this. This practice will be about holding stretches, static stretches, without the bending and straightening of legs are the dynamic stretches. We're going to concentrate on the static, passive stretches, which get to the deeper levels, deeper parts of your muscles, the fascia that wraps around your muscles. Take a breath in and take a breath out. So every time you inhale, just say let, and then exhale, go. You can do that even after our practice. Inhale, let, and exhale, go. Let's take a breath in, press into the hands, and I want you to, as if you're a feather, float forward. Float forward means you can walk forward, but lightly to the front of the mat. Once you've come to the front of the mat, press into the feet. Those become your foundation now. Your hands can take a break. Press into the feet, and as you press into the feet, lift up through the tailbone, drop your head. Stretching out the entire length of your body, especially the back right now and the quads, the glutes, not the quads, the hamstrings. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, let's roll up. So first start with getting heavy on the feet and then roll up one vertebra as if you're a balloon having just been let go. The string, they cut the string and you're lifting up to the air, but you're still stuck to the ground. You're supported. Let's inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. Let's exhale, float forward, forward fold. Let's do a few of these half sun salutations. Just one more time. Inhaling this time, lift up and stay up. Once you've lifted your arms up, bring your hands to your heart. Press into the ground, lift up nice and tall. Try and get yourself as tall as you can, but in a kind of a gentle, light way, if that makes any sense. Now bring your hands in front of you as if you have a pull-up bar right in front of you, just above you. Take your hands as if you're grabbing hold of that pull-up bar, okay? Now you have an option of lifting onto your toes, lifting up,
okay? Or not. You can keep your feet down. So take a breath in, soften the shoulders down, lift up. You don't have to do the toe version, but if you want to. And then as you bring your arms back, lower the heels down and open up that chest. So you're still holding onto this bar. I suppose it moves a little bit. And leaning back. Then inhale, lift back up nice and tall. Grab hold of that bar. Pull yourself up. Exhale, lower the heels down and open up your heart, bringing the hands slightly back, still in front of your shoulders, still holding onto the bar, and now you're in a crescent shape. Let's do this one more time. Inhale, lift. Grab hold of that bar, draw the bar, bring yourself up towards the bar while you're bringing the bar down simultaneously, and then lower the heels down and then open up your heart, working those arms. And then inhale, release the bar, reach your arms up and exhale, forward fold. Inhaling halfway, exhaling, forward fold. Take your big toes with your index finger, the thumb, index, middle, and thumb of each hand, so peace sign. Grabbing hold of those big toes. Now, if you cannot, just place the hands on your shins or use blocks. And then take a breath in and forward fold here all the way down. Let the elbows open out to the side for this one. And then inhaling, lift up halfway, probably not quite halfway, it's probably a quarter of the way. Press your big toes into the hands as you bring your hands into the big toes. So you're fighting. These big toes want to lift, but you're not letting them. And then inhale, then exhale, forward bend, open up the elbows out to the sides, drop your head. And then inhale, lift up, pushing into those toes. And then exhaling, forward fold. Exploring spaces in your body. Where do you feel tight spots? Where do you feel heavy? Tightness creates heaviness in the body. The next inhalation, lift up halfway, then release the hands from the toes. Exhale, step back into your downward dogs. Pressing down into the hands, get heavy in the hands. As you get heavier in the hands, you take an inhale. And then you exhale, tailbone lifts towards the ceiling, heart melts towards your thighs. And then inhaling into your plank. Same thing here, same concept. Once you're in your plank, you're going to get heavy in the hands. You're going to collapse a little bit, just a little bit. And then inhale, lift up through the arms. Heels press back. You can do this on your knees as well. Crown of the head reaches forward, so you're not dumping everything onto your wrists. You're just using it first as your foundation and then lifting from it. Lower the knees down, come all the way down onto your stomach. Hands next to your chest or slightly forward. Same concept here. Press into those hands and then take an inhale and lift your heart forward, squeeze your elbows in. Soften the shoulders down. Turn off that stress response just by softening the shoulders and the face. Press into your legs. A great posture for weight loss, especially around your bottom. They strengthen your glutes, but also your stomach, abdominal. Breathing in and breathing out. So holding a little bit more today, a little bit longer. And then lower down, very slow today. Because in order to kind of target these areas, let's press into our hands and let's just sit back for one full breath in child's pose. Take a breath in and take a breath out. Let's inhale into your tabletop, curling the toes under. Think about the hands. Bring your mind, awareness starts from the mind to the hands. Press down and lift up. So you have to tell your mind, okay, your job is to be aware, and then your body will follow. From here, bring your left foot in towards your right foot. Inhale, reach your right leg behind you, and then step your right foot between your hands. Flatten out that back foot, and we're going to lift up. Right knee is bent into your warrior one.
Inhale, so adjust your legs. Inhale, reach your arms up. And then exhale, release the hands behind your back. You can interlace them or grab hold of a strap. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Slide your hands back first, opening up your chest. Making sure your left heel is rooted down, that it's heavy, heavy, heavy. The legs, the feet are heavy. Take an inhale, lift up through the chest. Then exhale, lift your hands, come off your back, and then you're going to bow forward towards your right leg into humble warrior. Try and get that right shoulder inside your right leg. Right shoulder presses into that right knee, arms lift up. If this doesn't feel good for your shoulders, release the shoulders so the hands down. Take an inhale and exhale, release, place your hands, take the hands from one another, release the hands from one another, place them on the ground. And you're going to heel toe your foot to the right foot to the left, bring your left foot in about a foot or so. You get folding over your right leg, holding this pyramid. Feel free to use blocks, or if you can, take your hands forward. Stretch through the backs of those legs, particularly feeling into the back of that left leg, and then pulling that right heel, even though it's not going anywhere, back. It will be stuck, but pull it back. Soften the shoulders. Stretch out. Then from here, I'm going to slide back. Bend your right knee, take an inhale, and exhale that left leg up to the sky. Standing split. Push down with the right foot, then lift up with the left. You might not get it very high, that's fine, but engage the left leg as if you half commit, you're not going to get the same experience as if you kind of say, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to commit to this stretch. And then bend your right knee, the front leg, left knee bend, and bring that left knee behind your right. So this is called a Jiva squat. And then lift your left leg back up. And then do this one more time. Bend your right knee, bring your left knee in, and then extend your left leg back into your lunge. Take your left hand inside your right foot. Inhale, reach your right arm up to the sky. So take a peek at your toes. Oops, back toes. If you're twisting your foot to the left or to the right, even out the toes. So that your pelvis stays stable, it stays still. And then lower your hands to the ground, step back, downward dog. And feel free to stay in a downward dog, child's pose, or if you wish, vinyasa. But when you do the vinyasa, don't forget, get heavy in the hands, inhaling plank. Lifting up through the rest of the body, exhaling, hinging forward, lower down. Chaturanga, inhaling into your upward dog or your cobra. I'm doing a cobra. Soften the shoulders down. Squeezing those bottom cheeks and then lower down. Press into those hands and then lift back up into your downward dog. So from here, pressing the heels to the ground. Everyone come back into your downward dog. And then bring your right foot in towards your left foot. Inhale your left leg up to the sky. Step your left foot between your hands. So here we are. Press and bring your right foot in a little bit to the right and then lift all the way up. Warrior two. So get your adjustment, adjust your legs first. Whew, you find yourself getting, even though we're not going fast, the slower sometimes is more intense. So lower yourself down. Feet are heavy, heavy, heavy. Inhale, reach your arms up. Become really light in the space between your waist and the crown of the head and your arms. Bring your hands behind your back. Interlace with the unfamiliar interlace and slide your hands down your bottom. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Take a breath, and you can use a strap if this doesn't work for you. Inhaling, opening up your heart. So get heavy in the feet, and then hinge forward, bow forward to the inside of your left leg, humble warrior. Maybe get the left shoulder and the left leg to meet and squeeze. I say a maybe because you might not get that low. And don't force it. And just just checking in with your feet. Are they both pressing into the ground evenly? Are you pulling up through the outer edge of your right foot? Lots of details to think about. Then release the hands from your back, lower them to the ground, and bring your right foot in a little bit closer, foot or so, and then we're folding over into pyramid. Soften down, sliding the hands forward if you can, either on blocks or fingertips on the ground. And then imagine sliding, take your left foot, even though it's stuck to the ground, just pulling that heel back a little bit, which it won't move, but it will activate the backs of the muscles of the backs of both legs. So from here, take a breath in and bend your left knee. And exhale, lift your right leg up, standing split. Engage those muscles, feel the leg working, both legs. Take an inhale and exhale, bend your left knee, right knee, and bring your right knee behind your left into that Jiva squat. Then inhale, lift back up, and then exhale, bend. And then inhale this time, step your right foot back behind you into a lunge. And then step back into your downward dogs. And then lower the knees to the ground. Press back into a child's pose. Now we can start to settle down. So what, if you think of weight loss as being, as I said earlier, as you having to move and the whole idea of fast is better. Not always the case
in the long term. And especially if you're getting to, also if you're starting to check your age, you're aging, it's not sustainable. You know, some of these exercise programs that they have, or exercise classes. So yoga is a long-term thing that can be adapted to whatever's going on in your life, whatever you're going through. That's low, that's pressed down with the bottom. So our bottom's the heavy thing right now, our sit bones. The rest is light as a feather. Your feet, your arms, they're there, but they're not doing much of anything. Get heavy in the bottom as we start to lower ourselves down. So we're going to lower ourselves onto our backs. And as we lower ourselves down, you're going to have this desire to collapse if you're very weak in your stomach muscles. Try not to pay attention to that desire, but try not to give in too quickly. And then once you're all the way down onto your backs, stretch the legs away from the arms. Now you could start to lighten the load. Let everything go, let go. Let's place the feet flat on the ground. Let's just drop your knees. You can open the knees a little bit wider and drop your knees to the right. Turn your gaze to the left. Your arms can circle your head. This is a nice place to be. It's a nice spinal stretch, twist. And you can add on by pushing your left hip a little higher, picking it up and playing around with what feels nice for your body. And then let's just switch, drop your knees, bring your knees up again, and then switch them to the left side. Turn your gaze to the right. Maybe the right hip, push it up a little bit higher. See how that feels. And then release back onto your back. Give yourself one last hug. And then left leg to the left corner, right to the right. Let's take a few moments here, anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes. Let's let yourself in Shavasana become heavy, fully. In other words, you're just melting into the mat. There's no tension in the body. So I suppose you're light, but you're also allowing
the mat to hold you up. Close the eyes. If you have to do a few let go, breathing breaths, then do so. Otherwise, let yourself be. And as you continue on, it's a beautiful place to be. And one of the things about weight loss too is important is that we sleep. We have nice, good night's sleeps. And yoga plays a role in that because it gets you to sleep better. It enhances your sleep. I know some people really suffer from it. And I can attest to that myself. So I'm not a perfect person. I really can struggle at times. So as I bring my hands in front of my heart to seal our practice for this session on stretch, yoga stretch and weight loss, and also acceptance of self. So the whole idea to bring with you off the mat today is letting go. So inhaling let and exhaling go. So every time you start to feel heavy and weighed down by responsibilities or worries or concerns, take a moment, let and go. Thank you so much for being with me. This is Rebecca Jane from yogawithrebeccajane.com. And if you enjoy my classes, you subscribe, just press the button, comment, and give me a thumbs up. I do enjoy your teaching these wonderful, interesting, insightful classes. Have a lovely day, everyone. Namaste, or evening. Namaste.